Hey guys, this is GrumpyElite with another Grumpy interview. Today I'll be interviewing a young machinima director by the name of HighTideFilms. HighTideFilms has made a few short machinimas, but the thing that is special about him is the amount of progress and improvement he's made in the span of a year. Is that you can see from his first Halo 5 series, Longhorn, and then you look at his most latest project, Suffer With Me, which it's very professionally well made, and even someone for as young as this, and I would like to sort of get his insight and sort of like get an idea of what this guy's been through and to see like what he has to say for everyone else. So without any further ado, I'd like to introduce High Tide Films.
Hello, everyone. How are you? I'm not talking to a crowd, so I mean, I'm gonna pretend there's people here. How's everyone doing? I'm doing pretty good.
Good. So for anyone who's unfamiliar with you, could you tell us a little about yourself?
All right. My name is Michael Francino. I am 15 years old. Gonna turn 16 in about a month. I live in New Jersey, and I have been making machinima for Halo Machinima at least for more than a year. It's gonna come up on 2 years soon, and been making Machinima longer than that, but it was mostly in Gary's mod, and yeah, that's pretty much it.
So in the spring of 2017, there was a contest for the hub, and you made a short machinima called "Suffer with Me," and it has sort of put your name on the map with, especially with bigger, more high quality professional directors in the Halo Machinima community. And it's just like no one knew your name beforehand. Now after Suffer with Me, everyone knows who you are, and they have like a high respect for you. Could you tell us a little bit about Suffer with Me and what's it about?
Well, Suffer With Me, it was my contest entry for the Hub's drama contest. And it started off kind of as just another one of my projects that usually don't get done, as you've seen in the past, but I'm sure we'll get into that later. Um, Suffer With Me is an old series I used to make called Longhorn. It takes place in the city where everything went down prior to the events of Longhorn. Um, so yeah, it's a chilling, kind of a little disturbing machinima. It's very dark. It's definitely flawed because I had to rush it to get it done. Luckily, I won the contest, and I was really happy about that. But yeah, Suffer With Me was a pretty big deal for me because it really got me started on like tapping into the potential that I have as a director. And if you haven't seen it already, I highly recommend you watch it. It definitely shows my style, a lot of close-ups, kind of slow a little bit, but I think in a good way. It's kind of just a space off is or where I'm gonna go from for making machinima from now on, and that's kind of my style. So yeah, give it a watch.
Now, besides Suffer With Me, you made different series like Longhorn, Forsaken, Sharpshooter. Can you tell us a bit about those series and what your stance are on them?
Um, well, Forsaken was a partner. You know what? I'm going to start in order. So Longhorn was a machinima I made back in March or February of 2016, and it started off as just kind of like a little thing between me and my friend Matt, who I met from my Gary's Mod Machinimas, and me and him body acted it. We voiced it, and it was a really fun project. It was the first Halo 5 machinima that I made, and it was kind of the first Halo machinima that, and I thought at the time it was actually it was decent. It was definitely better than a lot of the stuff that's out there. If you watch Longhorn, you'll definitely see how I like to do cinematography. I like to go for those pan shots. Wrote that. Um, to be honest, it was Deadshot. Literally, it's like a carbon copy. And it was going to be connected to this universe called Cyber Frontier that I came up with. That was like a whole big thing about corruption and bounty hunting, and it's just that whole generic space travel gobbledygook. It, it really was not a good machinima, and I'm not too proud of it. Now, Forsaken, although there's uh, a lot of drama, which I hopefully could get into later, not too much, not too deep. There's drama surrounding it, just a lot of creative and kind of some weird stuff going on there. But Forsaken was a machinima I think I released in November or December of 2016. It was a Halo 5 machinima. It was going to be this big series that I had a lot of just like anticipation to get it done because I thought it was going to be really cool. It was going to be something new, and it was going to be something that would kind of like just show what I can do. And there was a lot of good reception on episode 1, which wasn't uploaded on my channel. But yeah, I'm in the middle about it. I'm kind of proud because I know that it wasn't terrible, but at the same time it was flawed, and I can understand that people might not like it. There's some voice acting problems. There's some definitely film problems, lacking in rules and the rules of film and stuff like that. And I obviously don't take it too seriously because it's a machinima, but I do like, now at least, I do like to follow and make my stuff look professional and as good as it can. So yeah, that's pretty much it.
Were you expecting to get like well-known recognition after you made stuff with me?
I mean, I don't want to get full of myself, but I'm gonna toot my horn a little bit. I believe that I am a lazy fuck, and I have a lot of problems with motivation. I try my best to stay on a project, and then all of a sudden I'm like, ugh, I don't want to do this. This is boring. You know, it's not fun. And that's probably why I don't make that much. I want to make something. I really, really want to make something that people will enjoy and remember. But finding that like sweet spot where I really know that I'm going to get it done and I'm staying on top of it, like that is a very rare thing with me. And I mean, in every avenue of life, not just machinima. You know, I I'm a quitter a lot of the times. I don't go all the way, and I think if I found something in myself to just kind of like push and push and get something out, I think personally that I could definitely um, become one of the more popular directors. I mean, obviously, in this little hub community, I definitely know everyone or most people. I think in this little community, I have a sort of high regard just because, you know, I know what I'm talking about, and I think people see that I have potential, and they know that, you know, I can do something good. So I think a lot of people like to or like respect that, and I'm happy about that. And I would definitely like to be held in a high regard as a, you know, big director. It's not my goal. My goal is just to make something that people enjoy. It's not to do what I want to do for other people and for myself. Just because, I mean, there's no make me happy or entertain me.
Now, each director has their own style when it comes to cinematography, directing, editing, sound design, writing, and their own stories. Could you tell us a bit what makes your Machinima style unique?
A lot of people have mentioned this to me that I do too many close-ups, and for me, I think it looks good. Um, I I like to get the face of the characters on the shot. I like to show, you know, with Halo, it's kind of hard because everyone's faces are hidden behind a shell, like a big visor and a helmet, and there's definitely a way to show emotion and kind of how people feel, and I guess close-ups are definitely my way to go for that. Because when you're close up to someone, it's kind of showing that like what they have to say is important or what is going on is important. And wide shots, you can do them, but like for a drama or for something like that, a more dark thing, I just like to be close to the characters, up in their face. Another style or like thing that I like to do is I definitely like to get slow moving shots of scenery, mostly as establishing shots. I like to maybe make the camera crawl up or like slant, uh, just to get like a feel for the surroundings. I don't do it enough though, because people complain with Suffer with me that I didn't really establish the setting too well. But I guess that is just a flaw. I don't have a. To me, the style comes in like my writing and how I guess how I go about doing things. Uh, Behind the scenes is more my style. What I put out has some traits that are custom to me, but I think most of it is behind the dialogue and stuff like that. And there's a couple camera things. I like to follow characters while they move, especially on angles. I think it looks kind of good, but that's just me. And I can't really think of anything else on the top of my head. I mean, I'm sure there are more things that people pick up on if they watch my videos, but it's kind of, I just kind of do it my own way. And I don't really go for kind of how it comes out, just I guess subconsciously. As to body acting, when I do that, I definitely have a bad temper, but I've never exploded on body acting sessions. I've gotten mad and I've yelled, but I've never really gotten that heated over a body acting body acting session.
Is there anything you look for in particular when it comes to making machinima?
Oh, geez, there's a lot of things. Poor body acting is one. If I say for something, I have a bunch of people in a room, and then someone in the corner just starts like moving, or their leg starts twitching because of the amazing animations of Halo 5 and such. I definitely would cut that out. I'm not a perfectionist by any means, but if there's something that I can get rid of, I will get rid of it, or reshoot it, or pick a different angle. Sometimes I'll get a little lazy with little things that I'm like, all right, it's not that bad. But disappearing bodies is one, definitely. Although I'd never really use game sound, when I did, I would remove, I hate when I'm watching Machinima, even though this is for like the more like low tier, not great ones, where I hear like the click of like starting the clip. That bothers me because it's like, it's not that hard to get rid of unless you start it mid-action, which isn't a good idea. So yeah, sound is a lot of what I look out for mostly. Um, Little flaws within the body acting is another thing, because if you're trying to do a dramatic thing and your character looks like he's having a seizure, it's not gonna play out well, and it's gonna ruin the mood, and the audience will pick up on it.
Now, we have people or maybe events or something that inspire us into doing the things we do. Now, who inspired you to go and make Machinima?
I have to go with the cliche here. The way I got into the community was through the Red versus Blue community. So Rooster Teeth definitely. Even though their latest season isn't too great, they have definitely motivated me, or at least brought me into making Machinima. Aside from that, the Master Chief series, I forgot who directed that, Guitar or something. I used to always watch those like back whenever they came out. But I didn't know how to do it. I thought it was just kind of like, people found a way. I didn't know that you could do it like vanilla. Like I thought you needed some sort of mod or like cheat or whatever. So definitely Rooster Teeth, the Master Chief series, John Graham, by far probably one of the biggest inspirations. RB and the Chief was a big part of me whenever I play Halo 3 with my dad. After that, I'd go watch RB and the Chief and some like Halo Flash cartoons, stuff like that. And more recently, I think the person who has kept me going would probably be a lot of it is more a general term, like people in the hub, because I've seen what they can do and I've been taught a lot. Like Digital Virus, Steven, he taught me a lot. Whether it was like personally or just kind of like to all the directors in the server, I learned a lot from there, and that definitely keeps me going because I know that I can make my stuff look pretty and unique, and people definitely get wowed by it. So yeah, I haven't been inspired by that many people, but it's kind of a select few that have inspired me. So yeah.
In your experience, what has been the greatest drawback? What has hindered you from making a Machinima?
Ooh. Like I said before, motivation has been the greatest drawback for me. Bad reception, it doesn't really do much for me. It doesn't really set me off or get me all down because I know I can make something better. I do rush. I don't like to rush. I do rush a lot. I try to push things out faster than they should. But yeah, the big monster in the closet is definitely motivation or lacking of motivation. It's not like I don't want to do it. It's just, like I said, finding that sweet spot and capitalizing on that and building off it to really get me going. And finding that is hard. Usually when an idea comes to me, I'm like, I'm going to write this, I'm going to make it. And then 3 weeks later, a month later, I'm like, no, never mind. Like, this is bad. I have something else to do. And that's exactly why I've made so many trailers, pilots, teasers. I have so many scripts written, but I just haven't made it because I don't want to anymore. And I fell off the hype of my personal hype of me wanting to make it, and that's gone. I do have about 2 projects right now that I'm definitely think I'm motivated on, and I think I could do. Hopefully, sometime, maybe when school starts, something will kick me in the head, and I'll get on the process of making stuff. But until I found that or find that, I don't know. I'm just kind of unmotivated a little bit.
So speaking of Halo Machinima director, you take part in the Machinima community. Has like anything in, like happened in the Machinima community in your experience?
Huh. I'm gonna like do a little timeline. So I met Megalodon through he voice acted my Machinima. Um, then later on, I was in Skype groups and Strider and Protoss. That whole drama happened. Whatever. I wasn't really that connected with it. And then Forsaken comes out, and I blow up a little bit. Not, yeah, it was kind of public. I don't really want to get into it because I have respect for Megalodon, sort of. And I know that he's not a bad person. I'm not calling him a bad person. But we had our differences and definitely some mixed opinions and some problems with the work and, fairness. Who made it, which was me, but I'm not gonna dive into that. So yeah, that whole drama happened. Forsaken went underwater, but I was in the hub. The hub taught me a lot. I met a lot of good people. Alistair, you, but that was a while back. I think my greatest strive or like person to meet might have been Pep because I didn't know him at all until the hub. I honestly thought he was just like this like 20 something year old person because his content really reflects that. It's professional, it's good, it's funny, or at least Tranquil Force. And yeah, I was really surprised when I first met him because he's my age. Like I was like, what the hell? And that was a big deal for me because we're friends now, and he's probably I don't know he's just a really good person to meet because he's talented and he knows what he's doing and he can give a lot of advice to me when I'm working on something. So I think recently, although there's kind of a lull in any big stuff happening, um, joining the hub was probably the best decision of whatever this career is because I met a ton of people and I've had a lot of laughs and I've just had a great time doing what I do and just shit posting. Oh yeah, by the way, there was a bit of an event recently involving a certain alt channel, and yeah, that was something else. Anyways, I think it's shrinking because I mean, back in the glory days, as a lot of people like to say, of like Halo 3 Machinima and stuff, uh, community was tight. Machinima was actually on Machinima, uh, and it was more together and big and wide, and this whole thing, anyone could do it. Anyone would probably get some views. But nowadays, there's a lack of, I guess, talent. Maybe not a lack of talent, but a lack of knowledge, because I see a lot of just these bad, unfunny little machinimas being thrown around. The squads, Gold Squad, whatever. The X and Y series, two wacky friends, or a wacky group of friends. I'm guilty of one of those, but it wasn't called that. It was Always Sunny in Halo 5, which I totally forgot about. And that was definitely bad. It was some people liked it just because it was gross out humor. It was like that, and yeah, there's just a lack of originality, and it's just not as good as it is anymore. There's a lot of talented people in the community, a lot of people learning how to do stuff, and a lot of people growing and learning how to do what we do. The people that I can very much attest to from the people I've met and people I've will, but hopefully it just is kind of a stalemate between bad and good, and maybe a little more good, which I hope will come out of the community in terms of content. So yeah, that's pretty much it.
Do you have any future projects planned that you'd like to tell us about?
Future projects. I have a GTA 5 machinima that I'm working on called Sadist, which is kind of like a vigilante sort of thing. And I actually had this little epiphany last night. I was rewatching the clips from 4. 4 was a machinima I started working on February, I believe, January, February of this year, which I thought it looked and sounded really nice. The script was pretty good. I had a casting call up, and a lot of people were interested in trying out and being in it. And it's something, and I believe that I can do it, and I kind of want to do it because GTA 5 is hard to make stuff in. So I want to get and learn how to make it as I work on 4 because 4 is in Halo 5. I can work with Halo 5 definitely. I know what I mean, suffer with me, and I was in Halo 5 and it looked, to my opinion, it looked really good, and I thought it was a good machinima. But yeah, I think those are the two big ones that I'm working on. I kind of ditched all the old ones. So yeah, 4.
Have you seen any recent machinimas that you liked, or even directors that have caught your eye?
Recent machinimas. Although I'm not a big fan of the whole clans thing, General JB has made this series called Game of Clans. First episode actually got a lot of views that surprised me. But with the dialogue, it's pretty good and it's written pretty well. So yeah, definitely him. He has potential. I mean, you have a lot of good stuff that you've worked on in terms of visuals, and you have a ton of potential to do something if you find the time. Let me think. Uh, Pep, obviously. He made some great stuff. If he gets back on his wagon, which I believe he is with a Rust Machinima, I'm sure he'll blow it out of the park. And he's very talented. Jack HF, or Jack now, very talented. He has a machinima coming out that I'm extremely excited for. Another one, Danny Fungus. It looks like I'm reading from the list of the hub, but I genuinely am a fan of Danny Fungus's. I forgot what his channel is. His GTA stuff is good. It's very atmospheric. I love the film grain and the kind of like retro feel it has. And he knows what he's doing. He's talented. Jacob, another one, GTA 5, should be way more popular than he is. I mean, he has a good following, but he needs like more just fucking amazing. Like every one of his movies is good. It's thought provoking. It's mysterious. Half the time I don't know what's going on, but I love it. I can't get enough of it. Um, Q Man. He's made like Rise of the Cones, the Senator or the Dictator. He is very, very talented. His cinematography is great. He knows how to find voice actors. His writing is fantastic, and he's made a lot of good stuff, and he has a lot of talent in terms of making machinima. Um, Pale Studios, another one that I'm a fan of. He made Mad World. Yeah, I believe he made Mad World. I think he made Dieborn, if I'm correct. And yeah, he's great. He has a lot of talent, and I love all of his Halo 2 anniversary machinimas. Those were really good. Oh, last one. I know I'm rambling. Outlet Chief. He has, I mean, Jesus. The promo for his new Halo 5 machinima, beautiful. And it just looked good. And from what I've seen from the trailer of put it on my big TV and just watch. Just very excited for that.
What do you think of the current Halo games as far as like being a good game and as far as also being a machinima engine?
As a game, to be honest, I don't play it. I kind of recently I've really stopped playing games on Xbox because I have my computer and I've just been playing a ton of games on there, a lot. And Halo 5 is a game. You know, I'm good at SWAT. That's pretty much it. Warzone, it's all right. It's fun when you're not dying every 5 seconds by like a grunt or an elite because you get shot everywhere. Multiplayer's campaign, I'm not going into that. It was all right. And as a machinima engine, it's pretty good. Forge is amazing. And you could do so much, and much better. I think as a machinima engine, Halo 3 still stands tall. It's very good. If you do it right, you can make it look beautiful. But it's still kind of outdated, and Halo 5 is probably the best way to go. You can do so much. You can make beautiful sets if you find the right person to do it for you, or if you're just talented to build stuff like that. And it has its flaws, obviously, animations, twitches, stuff like that. Sometimes the camera zooms around the map and you have to like restart your console. Obviously, the armor going to recruit, that's really annoying. But the fact that we can do it with such ease, I'm sure that older machinimas had to go through a lot more struggle to get things done. Bad internet, bad body actors. I mean, the first machinima I ever made had no dialogue. It was just a like Quake or something, and they typed in chat. I mean, that doesn't sound fun, but they did it because they thought it was fun. They thought it was cool. They brought something new to the table, and yeah, they need to. Hopefully, they fix the bugs, but if not, we'll find a way to keep working with it until the next game comes out or the next best thing comes out. So yeah, that's pretty much it. Flawed, but we'll deal.
All right, and as a final question, what advice would you give to beginning directors, especially young directors who are starting out? What advice or anything you would say, sort of, to give them to start off in the making of machinima?
Start slow. People will tell you you got to get something out. You got to get something out. Listen, coming from someone who's made minimum machinima, very little, but have been recognized. Be you, whatever style you have, whatever idea you have, go with it. Be unique to your vision and stick with that. Mostly.
All right, thank you for your words, High Tides. It's been a pleasure. that was HighTideFilms. If you'd like to see any of his machinima or any other works he's done, his channel will be in the description below. And thank you for coming along the show, HighTide.